Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for a postcard of the week. Give us a thumbs up, a like on YouTube and Facebook. That'd be great. Several weeks ago, I did a program with the Western New York Postcard Club in Rochester, New York, and they were kind enough to allow us to also post it on our YouTube grouping here back home in Wichita. But if you haven't already seen that, you might want to look at it. It's about Red Devil postcards. And I won't go in or tell you too much more about that. But that's kind of one thing leads from another, of course. But a couple of weeks ago, in sorting those cards that I used for that presentation, I found one that was marked on the back and said it was from the Moonlight Postcard Studio at 411 East Douglas in Wichita, Kansas. That's downtown Wichita, and it's an area that's, of course, populated and everything today. I can't tell you exactly what's in that storefront today, but we assume that this was a an operation where folks could go, maybe tourists, to go get their picture taken for fun and send to the folks back home. At that time, we're talking about like 1910, 1915. During those years, postcards were a major way of communicating with friends and family back home. And so if you went to another city, you might look into the going to a postcard studio, having a picture made and sent back home. And so this is what I think that operation was. But, there's always room for discovery and to learn more about it. I plan to try to go back through newspaper files, maybe check the Ed 10 file at Wichita State University and their special collections, and see if they have anything at all about this Moonlight Postcard Studio. I am curious, and as things develop, and if anything develops, I'll let you know later. But one of those postcards that I used for the Red Devil postcards showed a man dressed in a suit, and he was sitting before a fireplace. And then it said on the back that it was from the Moonlight Studio and so forth. Well, in putting those cards away after that presentation, I came across this one again, and I pulled it out and I put it with my Wichita collection and thought I'd start a new category just for that. I have a few other studio cards, but this is kind of exciting. And so then I started looking for anything else having to do with Moonlight Postcard Studio, and I happened to find this one that I'm going to show and talk about this week. This postcard has a similar back to it, and it's not postally used, which means that it wasn't mailed, or if it was mailed, it was perhaps slipped into an envelope and mailed that way. But in any case, we see an image here of three gentlemen, two in suits and a cowboy there in the middle. And look at that cowboy. He kind of has a look of a drugstore cowboy to me, but here we are. He's got his white shirt on. We can't tell what kind of trousers because he's so covered. He's slipped on the woolly chaps that cowboys sometimes wore to protect their legs when they were riding the horse in the range and to protect it from wood or the fencing or cactus or whatever you might find out on the range. But this cowboy has a 6-shooter gun, belted to his middle there. And he has a kerchief around his neck and a cowboy hat. Well, that hardly makes him a cowboy. He has a little bit of a smirk on his face, but it's kind of part of the story. And the two guys on either side, they kind of look like they're friends. One has the hand on the cowboy's shoulder, and the other one's kind of sitting back like, what's going on here? Well, I kind of think this may be part of an initiation, maybe something Masonic, or maybe from the fraternity house out of the university, or back then it was called the college. But we're not for sure, but that's kind of the scene that I see here. And I think it's very possible that that is the story behind this, that they brought this guy in, dressed him up in a certain way, kind of make him look stupid and foolish, but they're having fun. And if you don't think that's quite the story, well, make up your own. It's how I've interpreted this card, and that's part of the fun of postcard collecting. This card is also interesting to me from the aspect of being a Wichita product, probably Wichita people. Now, it could be they're all tourists from out of town or out at the college. We just don't know some of these things. But this was what was available on the street of Wichita during that time, to slip in one of these studios, have a few pictures taken, and then go on down the street. But as you're going through postcards, as you're going through, some at a postcard show, be thinking about the stories behind them and how you interpret it, and see what you think as far as having something and presenting it to friends, and all of you getting a good laugh out of it. That's part of the story. That's part of the great fun of collecting. And I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next week. Take care. That's all, folks.